A very hearty good morning to each and everyone present over here. And thank you, sir, for giving us this opportunity to present our presentation. I am Tisha Deshmukh with my team members Ashwin, Sobin, Himani, and Neha. Ashwin, please change the slide. So I am with my group members Ashwin, Himani, Nilima, Neha, Preeti, Rishiraj, and Sobin. As it is said that there is no shortcut for success, and if you take that shortcut, there is no sure shot guarantee as to how long this success would remain. So here is an epic example of failure of one of this success, that is Satyam Limited or um, Satyam Computer Limited case, which is actually known as Satyam scam. The content which we are going to discuss in this presentation are the background, introduction, what was this scam actually about, the scam, corporate governance, impact on the market, how this scam can be controlled, and the learnings from this case. So let's begin with the presentation with Neha. Over to you, Neha.
Thank you, Tushya. And I'm here to discuss about background of IT sector. And the first is major driving industry, IT sector. One industry that has been growing at rapid pace is the information technology. India's IT industry contributed around 7.7% to country's GDP, and it is expected to contribute to 10% to India's GDP by 2025. And the second one is impact of internet on e-business. During pre-internet period, e-business was underperforming. People are not used to buy their daily basis accessories from physical store. Even after introducing internet, people are not shifting their habits. But today's scenario is different. E-business are the fastest growing sector today. And the third one is emergence of high quality IT sector. After 2000 and 2002, IT sector was emerging and growing in a fast way. IT, IT sector was developing itself in a great and high quality manner to compete with this growing speed countries. And the fourth one is methodologies. There are lots of different ways you you could mark you could market research and collect customers data, but you don't have the limit yourself one research method. And the last one is the growth need for IT sector, and that was the point where Satyam got advantage, entering in the IT market company, which attracted the customer investors in a large numbers. And my friend Preeti will continue further. Over to you, Preeti.
Thank you, Neha. Now I will talk about introductions. That is how Satyam formed and the services. Computer Services was incorporated in 1987 at Hyderabad by Raju Brothers. It is an IT and a business. It is an IT and business.
So I'm here to discuss about the scam. What was actually scam about? So it was about the corporate governance and the fraudulent auditing practices alleged in convents with the auditors and the chartered accountants. It is basically the misleading of the market and other shareholders. Now the mode of business. So they have actually adopted a debt-free company model of business in which they actually try to reduce their liability and increase their shareholders' fund. So better understanding, let's refer to the balance sheet which is on the right side of the slide. As we know that there are two ways through which the assets of the company can be raised. That is either through the shareholders fund or by the loans or the outsiders liability or through by financial institute. Now, if you want to increase the shareholders profit, you need to reduce the loan so that there is more portion of fund profit remaining to distribute among the shareholders. As we know that when a company earns a profit, first it is used to distribute and settle down the loans and the outsiders liability, and then the remaining amount is used to settle down the shareholders, and remaining amount is actually given to the shareholders. Now if a company want to become a debt free company, he actually tries to reduce their loan and increase their shareholder fund, and also if they will increase the shareholder fund, all the assets of the company will be belonging to the shareholders. Now this is the big scam which was taken place by the Satyam Limited. What they used to do, they used to defaultly reduces their liability and increase their shareholders fund. In very manipulative way, he used to increase their shareholders fund. What will, as a result of which their shareholders value increases, got up, and more investors were attracted to invest in their company, which eventually helped the promoters of the company, that were the Raju brothers. So this was the actual debt-free company model which they adopted and have manipulated it. Now, Satyam Brothers have a conspiracy of artificially increase the revenue and the profit. Now the question arises, how can you do that? So for that, they used to basically book a sale on a fake debtors that never happened. That means there was a fake debtors, there was a fake sales, as well as there was a fake profit. Now the question arises is, if they're artificially increasing their revenue and profit, there might be some chance that they can be detected from accounting terms. So for that, they have actually developed their own ERP system of accounting where they have deliberately leave the loopholes, and these loopholes were filled by the fictitious invoices and fictitious bank statement. The fictitious bank statement to have the more money than the real one. They have a solution for that also. They have actually deposited this fake bank statement of fake money into fake fixed deposit, which was around 5 crore of rupees. There is one more thing that there is also one more thing that if you say one lie, you need to say 1,000 more lies to cover it up. And this was the same situation with the Satyam Limited, as they have shown that they have fixed deposit in the bank, so there will be a fake interest also. But on that fake interest, they actually need to pay a actual tax. So Satyam have also have to pay the actually have to pay tax on the non-existing income. So this was all the scam about which was taken place by the Satyam Limited. That's all from my side. Over to you, Neha, to explain the balance sheet, fraudulent balance sheet. Thank you.
And here's the fraud balance sheet of Satyam. Items rupees in crores, cash and bank balances, actual amount is 321 crores, reported 5,361 crores, and the difference is 5,040 crores. And understated liabilities are actual amount is 1,230 crores, reported none, and difference is 12,030 crores. And revenues are 2,112 actual amount and reported 2,700, and difference is 5,088, and the total difference is 1.47 billion dollar, which is non-existing money. Over, and the next slide will continue with Nilima. Over to you, Nilima.
Thank you so much, Neha. Now I am here to tell about the Satyam scam, involvement of major parts and affected of major parts. The Satyam scandal is a classic case of negligence of judiciary duties, total collapse of ethical standards, and the lack of corporate social responsibility. Satyam Computer had on December 16, 2008 announced that it will acquire two groups of firms. First one is Mehta's Infrastructure Limited, leading infrastructure development company, and the second one is Mehta's Properties, the real estate investment firm. And both of these companies was owned by Mr. Ramalinga's relatives only. Satyam planned to acquire 51% stake of Mehta's Infrastructure Limited for $300 million and 100% in Mehta's Properties. So the total outflow for both the acquisitions was expected to be 1.6 billion and comprising of $1.3 billion for 100% stake in Mehta's Properties and $0.3 billion for 51% stake in Mehta's Infrastructure Limited. So at last, the Satyam board, including its 5 independent directors, had approved the founders' proposal to buy the Mehta's Infrastructure Limited and property, and they went ahead without the approval of shareholders. Now, the second and most suspicious part of the scam was the role of auditor. Following a written confession by Satyam's computer founder, Mr. Ramalinga Raju, who admitted that he had misrepresented facts in company's balance sheet, the role of auditors and accountants for the company has also come under scanner. PricewaterhouseCoopers (PwC) global auditing firm audited Satyam's books from June 2000 until the discovery of fraud in 2009. PwC audited company for nearly 9 years and did not uncover the fraud, whereas Merrill Lynch, as a part of its due diligence, discovered the fraud in merely 10 days. PwC signed Satyam's financial statements and was involved in both the manipulation of balance sheet and income statement. And there was one major troubling item of 1.04 billion dollars that was claimed by Satyam as non-interest bearing deposit in balance sheet. This amount of cash should have been a red flag for the auditor that further verification and testing was necessary. Uh, Addition to that, whenever Satyam needed more income to meet analyst estimates, it simply created fictitious sources and did it so numerous times without the auditor discovering the fraud. Satyam also paid PwC twice what other firm would charge for audit. Missing all these red flags implied either that the auditors were grossly inept or in collusion with the firm. Now, the last and most affected part of scam is investor. Investors in Indian share market, turned by Mr. Ramalinga Raju's confession in a letter to stock exchange on January 2009, where he confessed his wrongdoings and admitted that he had effectively cooked the books of his firm for the last several years. So the scandal dominated conversation at stock market and Satyam share got dragged down. And then this scam puts investors in concern that Satyam scandal will put the spotlight on Indian companies and overseas investors will be the solution of putting their money here. That's all from my side. Now over to you, Ashwin. Thank you.
Ashwin, please unmute yourself.
Thank you, Nilima. So I would be talking about the corporate governance. The corporate government means the system, principles, and process through which the company is governed. It also provides some guidelines which the company should follow and through which the company should be directed and controlled in such a manner that it can achieve its goals and objectives as well as add some value to the company, and it's also beneficial for its stakeholders. A good corporate government means conducting the business with transparency, integrity, and fairness, which was not seen in the case of Satyam Computers. The Satyam Computer was a big failure in the case of corporate government. The first point is right of shareholders. Every shareholder should get a voice in general meeting as well as a part in decision making process. But in the case of Satyam Computers, the shareholders were not even informed about the very important decision of acquiring the Meta's infrastructures and properties. The next is obligation towards government. Every organization has an obligations toward government which they have to fulfill by paying the taxes on time as well as by obeying and following the rules and regulation formed by the government. But in the case of Satyam, the computers they used to pay extra taxes to cover up their fraud which they have done by overstating the assets and other wealth, fake wealth. Next is transparency. Transparency means conducting the business in a transparent manner. The willingness and openness of the company to provide the correct information to every stakeholders related to the company. But in the case of Satyam Computers, the chairman Mr. Raju has created almost about 60,000 fake salary accounts and many other frauds in order in the with the motive of attracting more money from the investors which he want to invest in other business. The next is accounting and auditing ethics. The every company should follow the accounting standards and ethics and should keep their books neat and fair. But the Satyam Computers was a case of the accounting fraud. They used the chairman has overstated or understated all the assets, liabilities, interest, and the profits. Even the company which used to audit their accounts, the PwC, the Price Waterhouse Cooper, was the biggest auditing firm of the world. Despite of this, they were not able to identify any of the fraud done by Mr. Raju in their books, and they used to sign their statements, and they are also responsible for the same. Now, I would request Rishiraj to explain the next slide.
Thank you, Ashwin. Now I am explaining about impact of the scam. First is shareholder. Before the scandal, its price was rupees 300 on October 2008, and just after this scandal, price went down to rupees 6.30. Shareholders were worried about their investment because due to downfall in market, shareholder losses rupees 9,374 crore in a day. Second is employees. Employee of Satyam faces many sleepless nights and non-payment of their salaries, project cancellation, layoffs, and equally bleak prospects of outside employment opportunities. They were stranded in many ways, like morally, socially, financially, and legally. Third is government. Indian government was worried about its image of the nation and IT sector affecting fate to invest or to do business in India. In aftermath of Satyam, India's market recovered and Satyam now lies on. Indian stock market is currently trading near records high. As it appears that a global economic recovery is taking place. Uh, Allegation and criminal charges continue against Satyam. Tech Mahindra purchases 51% of Satyam on April 16, 2009, successfully saving the firm from complete collapse. With the right changes, India can minimize the rate and size of accounting fraud in Indian capital market. Next is client. Client of Satyam expressed loss of trust and received their contract preferring to go with other competitors. Several global clients like Cisco, Telestra, and World Bank canceled their contract of Satyam. Customers were shocked and worried about the project continuity, confidentiality, and cost overrun. Next is bankers. Bankers were concerned about recovery of financial and non-financial exposure and recalled facilitates. Uh, Now my colleague Himani will explain further. Himani, over to you.
Thank you, Rishraj. So, in this slide, we'll throw some light on how these scams can be controlled. First, internal control. Companies are required to maintain sufficient internal management control, engage internal auditors to periodically evaluate the design and operating activities of the company. Second, detect financial standard frauds. Management should ensure that the internal staff are able to prevent and detect financial statement frauds. For very large companies, auditor could even be appointed by SEBI. Bank balance check. Good auditing practices require auditor to confirm the balance directly with the bank and the rotation of auditor list for every company. Clarify the duties. There is a need to clarify the duties of external auditors who perform an audit according with specific rules and regulations of financial statement. Policies and procedures. The management should formulate appropriate policies and procedures to reduce such risk. The automatic and direct submission of audit committees of all complaints involving the senior management is essential. Imposing of fines. Frauds like Satyam Computers should not take place again. For that, financial statement fraud should be decreased by imposing fines and other measures like banning them from corporate world. Letter from chairman. The audit report should include a letter from chairman of audit committee discussing about the committee's activities and responsibilities during the year. Thank you. Over to you, Sabin.
Thank you, Imani. Now I'll be telling you what we learned from this case. First is honesty. It is not wise to assume that a person is honest simply because he is vocal about good practices, has a foundation that does good work, has won awards, or has founded a company with a name like Satyam, which ironically means truth in Sanskrit. Second is what you see and what is declared, it's not necessarily always true. What followed Mr. Raju's confession was unparalleled drama with lot of speculation in the media over where the money disappeared. Not that anyone has understood it till date. Coupled with confusion over understanding the involvement of Maita's company founded by Mr. Raju, disbelief and astonishment over the fact that the company could have non-existent or ghost employees on its rolls that went undetected for years. Third is corporate governments need to be stronger. The Satyam case is just another example supporting the need for stronger corporate governments. Companies must be very careful while selecting executive and top level managers. These are the people who set the tone for the company. If there's corruption at the top, it's bound to trickle down. Separate the role of CEO and chairman of the board. When the same person takes on both the role, who's left to check up on the CEO? Splitting up the roles helps in avoiding situations like one at Satyam. Fourth is, it is possible to restore trust with concrete action and open communication. Satyam was eventually sold to Tech Mahindra in a transparent bidding process, which was communicated to public step by step, not leaving much room for speculation in the media. The last is, good leader need to be consistently good. Mr. Raju was hailed a good leader, but failed the very own company he founded and betrayed the trust of his employees, the IT industry, and the whole nation that looked upon him. At last, all I want to say is that if you take shortcuts, you get cut short. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.